guys. Number 20.
This is insane that we've done this for 20 weeks.
20.
We've got Elliott Hardy in the house.
Special guest, Elliott Hardy.
Special guest. Easy title this week.
I know it. I've been pumped for this because we've been talking about doing this one for a while, getting Elliott on, and he's got a big album coming out we'll get into later, coming out Friday. So we have a lot to talk about because, I mean, I've grown up with Elliott since I was little, and, you know, we're family and all that. So exciting episode this week.
If you want to give yourself an introduction, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, how's everybody doing? I'm Elliott Hardy. I'm right here from Irving, Kentucky. Lifetime friends of both Gabe and Jake. Have lots of memories with these guys, lots of respect for them. I'm a student at the University of Kentucky. Also, I'm an assistant coach at Bryan Station High School for football, and I own my own business, BET Odd Jobs. So I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't even think about asking questions about that.
Yeah,
BET.
You can throw that in there.
I forgot all
many
about
hats. Many hats.
So we can get started. You know, football season's right around the corner. It's a dead week right now. We can get into football if you want to, because I'm down to talk.
Great
about
place
it.
to start.
Yeah.
So Bryan Station, you're over there with Coach Markham now. Love that guy. He still got my graduation gown. I had to give it to him for
EKU. I saw that.
For Bryan Station's thing. But getting over there with Bryan Station, how did that come about? How did that kind of work out?
So last year, of course, you all know I coached with you, Gabe, at Estill County. I coached middle school and a little bit of high school as well. But it was tough. I'm a student at UK. Living in Lexington and driving back and forth for practice every day, trying to make it to classes. It was tough. And if you know me, everybody knows I love Estill County athletics more than just about anybody. But it was tough every day going back and forth. So I was trying to find a job that was closer to school, because I'll be graduating in December. But I do this as part of my school. I'm in a program over there. It's a new program that UK introduced us whenever I got over there. I'm one of the few students in it that has to do with sports leadership and coaching, and I jumped on that immediately. It was something I wanted to do, and I have to do a lot of stuff for school, so I'm always having to go there for meetings and different things over at UK, and I was just trying to find a place that was more, closer to that and closer that I could do coaching and school and, balance it out a lot easier. And I was looking around, searching, trying to find different places that I could go. And when I heard, Coach Markham, he's now the offensive coordinator there at Bryan Station, and I jumped on that immediately. I had previously talked to Coach Boone, as both of y'all know, and we talked about some things, trying to get on at some other places, but it didn't work out, and that's all right. That's how life works, So I came around, and I think all things happen for a reason, and I ended up at Bryan Station. Things are going really well there so far.
So I can imagine that the talent level at Bryan Station is just crazy. Have you noticed that jump at all?
So the first time that I was actually over there, we're sitting there and we're talking, and they're talking about this kid and what he's got offers to, and Illinois, I think, offered him that day, the first day that I walked in, and it was just like all these college coaches always around the program, and they're like, they have a big emphasis I've seen there on the camps, and I know we know how important the camps were and how they stressed them, but it's like every single day you got these guys are going to Cincinnati, these guys are going to Indiana. It was just mind blowing. But the talent is just like you said, it's just athletes all over the board there, and it's really special, and it's different to coach. It's like adjusting to those guys, and they're doing all this different stuff, and they know the technique. It's a different style of coaching, so I realized that pretty quick.
Bryan Station, did they win their district or region last year?
2 years ago they won the region and went to the state championship and lost in the state championship. But then they're in a very, very tough district. Central in there with them, and also Frederick Douglass. Yeah. And it's a tough district, but I'm excited.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't know why this week, but this week I was thinking about, for this interview, I was thinking about football camp from when we were freshmen. And I was talking to Mo. I was talking to Mo the other day. He's like, was it really that rough on you guys? I'm like, Yeah.
I'll say one thing about that is I love that comment Jack made a few weeks ago. He said, "We're gonna have to rally up." Elliott said, "We're gonna have to rally up."
Yeah.
We might have to fight.
You got us. Like, you gave us a little speech there. I was ready to go. Like, I thought I was going to have to fight Travis Donahue, and I would not have won.
I was
There would have
terrified,
been an
man.
effort.
I know one thing. I tell my mom this all the time. She sent snacks with me to that.
Yeah.
I will not eat any of those snacks that I took to that. I swear it's like traumatic or something.
PTSD, bringing back bad memories.
Yeah, I cannot eat any snacks I took on that trip anymore.
That's funny.
Camp was rough.
Camp was rough. Have they had any camps like that?
They've been talking. We're having a camp. I'm not exactly sure where it's going to go, or if it's going to be there like we did with Coach Markham or what. But they've been talking about there's a week for camp, so
Yeah.
I'll have to see how it is as a
That'd
coach
be interesting.
for sure.
How many kids are on that team?
So it's unbelievable. I really couldn't tell you exactly. It's close to 100.
Yeah.
I know that the first day, because I'm coaching the freshman team too. I deal with the receivers on the varsity, and then I call the offense for JV, and then I'm actually the coach of the freshman team.
Oh, that's cool.
And they were looking around, and first of all, I'm like, freshman team?
Yeah.
We had barely enough for a JV team, you know? It's like, what's going on, a freshman team? And then it's like 40, we have like 40 freshmen coming in, and it's like, this is just unbelievable. And enough for an actual freshman team, so it's just crazy over there.
That's cool. That's cool, man. What's it like as the head over a team?
So we've not really, mostly so far it's been young kids, old kids, and just conditioning and lifting, the typical June workouts. So I've not really got to experience a ton of it yet, but I know when we come back after dead period, they're talking about, we'll get to split up more often. I think they're doing freshman games on Thursday or something like that, so it'll be about like our middle school games, really. But it should be pretty exciting.
I've went to one middle school practice that we've had so far this year, and it's been... We actually had like 11 kids there, which is more than we'd have normally for a practice last year.
That's great. Wow.
Because there'd be points last year we'd have like 8 kids show up, like in the season. I'm like, what do you do with that?
Tough.
But I don't know.
Gabe's talked about it a little bit with coaching, like kids questioning your authority, because we're still young, like we're close to their age. If you had to deal with that at Brown Station, any?
It's a great question. To be honest, not as much.
Yeah.
No. A lot of the times I really did feel like you said, my authority, I mean, especially with the high school kids last year, like those seniors were my freshmen when I played, and it was like, this is, it's like it's hard to find a medium between friend and player I'm coaching. It's like, I know it was like, Levi Beckler and some of those, played receiver with me, and I went against those guys in practice every day, and it was like when I need to get on them or need to teach them this or teach them that, it's like I just played with you a few years ago, and it's a hard thing. It really is to find a medium. I'd say you can probably relate to that as well. It's it's tough when you have to be authoritative.
I've noticed with kids that you don't know, like you're around a whole different people that you never met before, so I'm sure they see you. They don't see you as a friend because they don't know you. But like them kids we grow up with, coaching in the county and stuff, they see you as a buddy, and if they ain't gonna listen to you. You know how it is. But I'm sure it's a whole different. Well, even with those kids in Lexington, they're growing up in they're probably like strict middle school programs, even little, and they're growing up and they're like, I have potential to go like play D1, SEC caliber, Big Ten caliber schools. They're probably a little bit more locked in and focused.
Absolutely.
Than, kids.
And we feed off, I think it's 3 different middle schools there. So it's like, it's not just like bringing, like we had a littler class last year, just a couple guys.
And they're all competing for a spot too. It's like, it seems like around here.
Oh yeah, that you can get caught up in the back. I'd say if you want to play there and you got to be up there in the front. You got to take reps. It's different.
Yeah, that's cool though. You got any other stories that you want to share on that? like with practices and stuff like that? How's it?
I know we did a competition day there the last days before dead period, and I saw a different side of what it's like to. I mean, it was like the football movies. Like, I mean, just having to break up fights.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was just a different level of competitiveness. And be honest, for me as a young coach, like, you know what they preach to us as young coaches, like, be energetic, be exciting, get them going. And you know, that's how I am as a coach.
Yeah.
Had to get into those middle schoolers a couple times last year, you know. But that's just how I am. And watching that, you know, they did like the tire pulls against each other and the tug of war. And it was just like, it was awesome. I mean, it was just like one of those moments I was just pumped and I was like, I wish we could play a game right now. Like it was just cool. But I really, really enjoy the energy there. It's constant, you know, music bumping, you know, stuff like that. It's just like it feels like a college practice. It really does.
That's cool.
How did that challenge you as a coach compared to Estill County? Because you grew up in Estill County playing football in a completely different football culture.
Absolutely.
Like, how did that challenge you to change your coaching style, if it did?
To be honest, I'm still learning. It's that first day. I've never been so nervous in my entire life to walk in there, and I can be a nervous person. I don't show that a ton, but sometimes I really can, and I'm just adapting with them, really learning from them, and I have a ton of respect. I already knew of him, but now that I'm getting to know him, my head coach, Coach JT Haskins, he played at Louisville, and just learning from him really a ton, because I know he's seen it. He's been there, bounced around NFL practice squads. Like, he's seen it, and he knows talent and how to work with talent, and it's just learning from those guys. And of course, I can learn a ton from Coach Markham. I've always have looked up to him a lot as a coaching mentor and stuff like that. But like you said, if I have or if I haven't, it's still a learning process for me, and I'm still changing a lot of stuff to this day, and it's kind of just day by day learning and going with the punches.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool opportunity that you got over there. How many people's on staff?
Around 10.
10.
Somewhere around there, and we've had a few come in. Still kind of coming in. It's a brand new staff. He's the first year head coach. A lot of the guys are new. I think him and Markham and one other guy, really the only guys that are returning from the staff. So it's completely new. So I'd say those guys are learning a lot with me, and it's cool to see how we gel as a staff too.
Yeah, that's neat. Well, that's pretty cool, I think.
That is cool.
Going over, Brian, the Defenders. Is that what they're called?
Defenders.
I remember we played there.
Played a JV game there.
We played their sophomore year, didn't we?
I remember that. I was hurt, but I went with y'all.
And I remember Pepper Alley.
That was memorable.
Pepper Alley, he got a pass interference call. Like, he straight up tackled the guy. And everyone was mad at him. He's like, dude, why'd you do that? I'm like, if he didn't do that, he's catching it and scoring a touchdown. So his friend saved a touchdown.
Yeah, I kept thinking about that game, because that was really the only thing that it was like, I knew about Bryan Station. Like, we went there that one time and played, and it was every time I go over there, I was like, I remember that game that we played over there that one time.
We about beat them too. It was like 14-6 or something like that. We almost beat them.
Closer than I thought it was.
Yeah, we almost beat them.
Let's go.
But I remember I rode over there. I think me, Dad, and Noah were in the car. Noah Lutz were in the car for whatever reason, driving around Bryan Station, and Dad was like telling me the whole backstory about the Defender's name and how it's like, yeah, there was a fort here. They sat there and defended the fort back in the Civil War or whatever, and that's how they got the name, was the Defenders.
Wow.
It's because there was a fort there and they were standing strong. Because their mascot's like some old-timey Daniel Boone type guy. You know? So I think they were defending the fort or the base there, or Bryan Station.
I was surprised when I made it official. I posted something on Facebook, just, saying that I was going to coach there. And how many people from Irvin had commented on that post saying like that they went to Bryan Station.
Huh.
And I know there were a few few older people I know, you know, my church and stuff, commenting on there like go Defenders, like alumni and stuff. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's neat. Well, what's our segue here? What we got?
Our segue
into the next section.
So, kind of what I had set up is I was going to ask how you handled all the different stuff you do, because you have the side jobs, you have coaching, music, school, relationships, and a relationship with God. You've already mentioned church. How do you handle all that?
It's tough. It's but I love it, if you want me to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm a person that has to be doing something. I can't sit around. I can't stay stagnant. It's always been a very tough thing for me to do, and I would like to say upon that, first and foremost, my number one priority always is my relationship with Jesus Christ, and I prioritize that over anything else first. I've always tried to make that my motto and live by that the best I can, but I know, and that's how I've been taught, that's how I've grown up, that, you know, there's an event at church, if there's something of that sort, that's always first. And I've always tried to stick by that. But, you know, it's tough to have all these different things at once. I know I recently, in the past few years, have also got into golf. It's been a very, you know, big hobby of mine that I'm always wanting to go do. And I've got a membership this year, and even trying to put that in, it's just like, there for a few weeks ago, I was going work with the odd jobs in the morning, and then it's trying to get that album all together and doing all this. Then at 3 o'clock, I'm going to practice, which I'm living here, so I'm driving to Lexington, driving back, and then, you know, you throw church into the mix of that, you throw those things. It's tough. It's a full go all the time, but deep down, I love it. I really do. And all those things I love, so I make time for all of them, and I work it in there, and sometimes you have to sacrifice one for the other. I know, you know, that comes with sacrifices when you do stuff like that. You're not going to be able to do this one day or do that another day, but in a week's time, that's the way I try to look at it. In a week's time, I have to get this done, or this done for each thing. And I try to set you know, like a checklist for each thing, and I try to get that done by the end of the week, and I prioritize my time around that. So it's not easy, but it's something I love, like I said, so I try to do the best of my capability.
I know, like for me, I feel like I'm all busy and I got all this stuff going on all the time with whether it was, especially during the marathon training, I mean, you're running an hour a day, then you're getting in school and getting in, we had track practice at the time and this and that. And it was rough. And I remember Dad told me, he's like, Gabe, I think you're just like getting ahead of yourself. Like you're doing too much. And I'm like, well, what else am I to be doing? You know?
I get that a lot.
So it's like, I don't know really how to explain it. Because if I'm not doing anything, I feel like I'm not productive. If I'm just sitting at the house not doing nothing, I feel like I'm just wasting the day away. So I like how you said, it's like getting, this week I have to get this, and this done. I think that's a good way to set things up for the week and have that goal set through the week. Whether it's, you know, up at church, we got this event planned. It's like Tuesday morning I had to go drop off a check that we raised for the VBS to the food bank. Wednesday morning we had a youth trip to the Gorge. Thursday went to the other food bank, dropped another check off. And like yesterday, I sat at the house and did absolutely nothing, and I felt pointless. So I don't know. It's just having them things that kind of like fill up your day. Because especially in the summer when you ain't doing school, or for me, you ain't doing a real job. So like I guess a 9 to 5. Yeah. It's hard to find things to fill those days and make you feel productive. So it seems like you got to figure it out with just cramming everything in.
I wouldn't say figured out, but I would say I manage it to the best of my abilities. Like you said, my grandma, she's going to watch this, so hi, Mimi. And she said she's got to find a way to watch this, so we're going to have to pull up YouTube for her. And but she's always on me about that. She's always saying, you just need to take a break. And then I'll be out there and I'll be like, I got to mow the yard today, or I got to do this and jam that in. She's like, you can't be worried about me. You got all this other stuff going on. And it's just like, I love it. Like, I love to be doing something. Or like you said, I can't sit around and feel like I'm just useless. And I like to be productive every day, even though it can become, tiring and stuff like that. But that's part of it to me, and I enjoy it.
So with school, I guess we can hit on that. What's your degree over at UK?
So I'm a double degree in business management and sports leadership.
Yeah.
So, and then I have a minor in coaching. I started out, I think Micah said this a few weeks ago on the episode, that he started out as a physical therapy major, but I did as well. And man, after COVID, I feel like I didn't know this whenever I was getting into it, but they were describing all the different stuff to me over there at UK about how you become a physical therapist. And man, it was like, it's as easy to become a doctor nowadays as it is a physical therapist. And I was not ready for that. I was, I know people tell you all the time, people switch all the time from major to major, but I was set on that. I felt like at first, going through what I went through and, physical therapy 3 times a week for 2 years, I was set on that. I was inspired by those people and really became close with my physical therapist. And I was like, I'm really set on doing that. And then I got over there and it was like, you're going to have to go this many years of this and no summers. And it was like, he said, where I'm from, Eastern Kentucky, something about I would have to do my physical therapy school in Hazard and live down there for 3 years and all this. And I was like, this is just a lot coming at me at once. And I was like, I don't know if I, chose the right thing for me. And that's when I got into business management, and I was offered not offered, but I got, let known of the thing I spoke a little bit on earlier with the sports leadership. And it was a brand new thing to get in that program. And it was, I jumped on that immediately. I was like, that is one of the, greatest things I've heard, especially for me. That aligns perfectly with what I want to do. And, I've always told people when they ask me this to find that mixture between the business side of things and the sports side of things. I wanted to have both so I can feed off of each other. And, they talked to me over there about working in a front office, even with that degree of a sports organization or something like that. And that really sparked my interest. But it's been a tough few years. School is not easy. I know you know that. And it is... it takes up a lot of time, and especially with the double having to do the mixture of both of them, and it's been tough, but it's a really neat experience. I'm glad I got to get into it.
Yeah. Well, only 16 more weeks of it.
Yeah.
So
almost there. One more semester. And that is, like you're doing, I have plans of going to grad school.
Yeah.
Been in talks with some guys, hopefully to get a pretty good gig going for my graduate assistant job. So got some good connections through that to hopefully do some things on that.
Yeah, all them guys over at the basketball team. You can work with them.
Yeah, Bryce.
Is Bryce working with the men's team this year?
He's got to work with them a few times.
Yeah.
He's still working with the women, but I know some of the women's staff that have been working with the men a little bit. It's really, really cool.
That's neat.
A lot going on.
Yeah. I got to thinking, I'm like, man, this guy, he's got so much going on. Like, a lot of people's going to watch this this week because, like, everybody knows him. Yeah. So I thought that was cool. But let's see. Handling classwork and all that other stuff is not easy. How many hours you take a semester?
Around 16. Usually.
Yeah.
And taking summer, I've had to take summer and winter. I usually take just one at a time, but I've took 2 winter classes and now 2 summer classes. Man, I've had a struggle with the class I've taken this summer. It's the only class I've had to take twice in college. It's my last finance course. And man, finance has been a struggle for me. It is a tough course, and it was taking a lot of my time there. I forgot to mention that I would get home every night. And it was like daily. The stuff was daily. It wasn't like everything due Sunday or Friday like it typically is for me during the actual school year. It was like it's daily stuff you got to do. Man, it was a tough course. Thankfully, I got done with that last week.
Was it just 8 weeks?
It was actually 6 weeks.
6 weeks?
6 weeks. So
those are 6 weeks long. Because I remember I got a text from the girl that's over my graduate assistant stuff. She's like, yeah, I'm wrapping up summer classes this week, so don't hit my line until July, whatever. She said I'm taking a break. But
it's tough to jam a whole class into 6 weeks. It's a daily operation.
I took one winter class, and I don't know, I felt like it was a big waste of time because it was like a general business class.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I took a music class
Really?
in winter one time, and it was just like an elective, but like you said, it was like a shout out to Mr. Bowles. I love that guy. it was like Mr. Bowles' class.
Yeah.
It was like what I remember Mr. Bowles' class being like.
Yeah.
I love that guy, man. Mr. Bowles.
Mr. Bowles is a good one.
Yeah, he is good. He's ignorant.
Big shout
So
out.
is his son, Caden. I love Cade Bowles.
I heard you all talking about him and running the other day. That was awesome. I was talking to my dad about that, and I always really liked Caden, and so I was proud of him to hear that.
Yeah, he did very well this year. I don't know what he's doing after high school, but he graduated high school. I don't know what he's doing, but he did very well.
Very talented, so he could do a lot.
Yeah. Well, what else we got going on here?
So you're a double major with a minor.
Yes.
What kind of requirement?
So,
like, how many hours do you have to get?
So the reason I did that is I've done the coaching minor the entire time.
Okay.
And the sports leadership major was only a few more than the minor. It was just a few more credits, and I'd already done a bunch of this, so I was like, and it was like a summer course more that I would have to do. So I was like, oh, that's a great deal.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna get on that no matter what. And I think I would have only had to take 3 courses this last semester, but I'm gonna have to take 4 now. But I mean, it's like that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be doing it already,
Definitely tolerable.
it's tolerable, like you said.
That's what Dad told me. He's like, you might as well just do this master's degree right now, while you're in the group of it. Just might as well do it.
That's what I've heard. Like, if you want to be a college coach and stuff, you need that master's degree. And I never really knew that. And I was like, if I'm going to go to graduate school, what exactly am I going to do there?
Yeah.
That's been a thought for me, but it's like, that's what I've heard is that you have to have that degree to get to be a college coach. I was like, I never knew that. I would have never thought that.
What's the program look like? Is it just 1 year? That's what it is at EKU.
I'm not exactly sure, to be honest.
Well, for me, anyways, it's just 1 year. My path that they're cramming it in just one calendar year, 3 semesters. Fall.
I've been interested
summer.
to hear about yours because I've heard you talk about it and I don't know if you're allowed to talk about it. I guess so.
I don't know much about it, to be honest, which is crazy. So I'm gonna be a graduate assistant, and
Is that for the football team?
No, it's for the sports management program. So I'll be like teaching classes,
Oh, okay.
grading papers, facilitating online classes. And so it's no more than 20 hours a week, and they're going to pay me a salary, and they're going to pay for half of my tuition. So with that, hopefully we'll get paid for. And plus, Key's money should still be rolling in because I haven't used 4 years of it.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I need to make sure that's coming in. If not, I'm going to write a strongly written letter to Andy Bashir or whoever I need to write it to.
Somebody's gonna hear from me.
Yeah. So there's no telling what I can get into with it. And my degree's in sports administration. So, like you were saying, front office stuff. But it's like, I really don't know what I want to do with it or the options available for it because I haven't asked the right questions to the right people.
I get that.
So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. And I've got my classes set up, and they're strictly night classes. So that's another thing you were talking about, just having everything hitting you all at once. I feel like this is how this next year is going to be for me, is that morning you got to get up, go over to Richmond, work in the office or whatever, come back home, and if I'm still going to be coaching football from 3 to 5, then I got to go back to Richmond at 6 to 9 for the classes 4 nights a week. Then Wednesday nights, I got church 7 to 8. So how's you got church right when classes are? So I don't know what I'm going to do there.
Yeah.
And like it's been a tough struggle of what I wanted, how I'm going to handle it. And plus, if we're going to be training for the half marathon and the Mackenzie
ultra marathon, the Mackenzie,
like what am I going to do?
So we got the button there.
It's turned off. Oh, it's off. We'll turn it back on just in case we need to hit it later.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, keep it over there.
You can push the button on something
big red
else.
button.
But it's just I don't know. I've just been kind of struggling with the thoughts of how I'm going to handle it. But also, I look at it this way: this doesn't hit me until August, whatever. So why am I worrying about it right now? Because I literally can't do anything about it right now. So why am I getting worked up about it right now? You know, let's just go live this summer out and have fun, and then the real world can hit me in midway through August,
Yeah.
August 19th or whatever.
Get your butt handed to you later.
Yeah. No, I'll hand it back to them. I ain't gonna take no crap over there.
There you go.
Like,
EKU,
I don't care.
man.
I don't care at this point.
Allison Banks has given us some advice with EKU.
We'll tell you what she said off camera.
Yeah, that's right.
But well, what's our next topics going on here? We want to get into how long have we been going? We've been going for about
Half hour.
So I think this is going pretty well. Dad told me, said, Gabe, keep it under 3 hours, please. I said, we'll try.
This is already so much more productive than
I know
the last 19
Hey man,
episodes.
before we get too away from football, I know we talked about that a little bit. I would love to talk about that PVC championship year a little bit.
See, I didn't think we needed to.
That's something I just
Not the YouTube channel, the
Not the
2016 team, the 16
Oh, we
team.
can,
We can also talk about the YouTube channel.
channel.
Am I?
The PVC championship
Oh,
that we won when we went 10 and 0
yes.
on Halloween.
We were killers.
in 2015 or 16, whatever that
Okay,
was.
yeah, we can talk about that.
You said you heard PVC and
I heard
thought-
We can talk about that too.
I went back to having my head shoved under a creep by Caleb Knopp.
I was thinking about this on the way over here too. Is that I know you posted that YouTube video last night of your that you sent me this morning.
Yeah.
So you've got this. I'll let you talk about it later. But I think it's neat that I know that you've always and I've always wanted to like kind of have our own. I felt like I've always wanted to have a YouTube channel or like something. And I know like me and you, we used to make YouTube videos with the PVC or the 606 Life or whatever we called it. So I think it's kind of neat that, you know, we kind of got something going on here and you got something
That's
going
exactly
on.
that's exactly one of the biggest points I was coming in with today is how cool that is and how our minds have always wired, I feel like, in the same way. And it feels like a reunion a little bit. Like it's like we had the channel. I know that sounds corny. We had the channel when we were, you know, younger or whatever. And then now we're both kind of doing our own thing, but in the same like respects, I would say. And we've always been very supportive of each other. I know that's one major thing that I take away from wanting to do this is as I sound like a fanboy here, I guess, but like, I've always been a big fan, and it's like I watch the episodes every week. I don't think I've missed one yet, and it's like getting to, you know, do like a collaboration. It's really cool to get to gel the two things together, and that was also I thought about that on the way here too. So that's really cool.
So for those of you that didn't know, I don't know if we could talk about it or not, but we had a YouTube channel back when we were freshmen. And
Yeah, back when we shouldn't have had a YouTube channel.
We called it the PVC Live. We went,
Something like that.
We went creek wrestling, and Elliott was the champion of that video.
At football camp.
That was like the only free time we had
At that football
for
camp.
ourselves, and we made a creek wrestling video.
And it was awesome too.
Like
It was
pounding
fun.
ourselves with labor, and then what do we do in our free time?
We go
Pound
fight.
Beat the crap out of each other. In the
I
creek.
remember editing that video on my phone. I went and I bought the Pirates of the Caribbean song on iTunes.
Yes.
I bought the Pirates of the Caribbean song on iTunes because I didn't realize I could screen record off YouTube yet and just take the music from it.
Yeah.
But then I put that in there, and it was that video is still awesome to me.
It's funny.
And I'm not gonna say nothing more about that video because at the end of it, there's something.
I have a confession to make about that video, though. I could not stand to fight Noah Lutz, man. He was the nicest guy on earth, and I would never want to harm him or any way, or even being a fake fight with him. I love that guy more than anything. And it was like, why don't y'all match me up with Noah as a first round? Like, you could have gave me pep or something.
There was no real coherent thoughts behind that video. It was just, we're in the woods. No mamas, no girlfriends. It was just us in a creek.
And I was too scared to get on camera. I was sitting there recording the whole time. I was too scared to get in the water.
It was it is cool because like everybody that we've grown up with, we're all becoming more of what we are.
Yeah.
And it's been so cool to see like what everybody's getting into.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the people we've had on.
Yeah.
It's cool hearing their stories about what they're doing now, and it's a really good way. Like, I can section myself off from everybody real easy. I'm very introverted. Like, my perfect evening is sitting at the house, doing whatever.
Yeah.
So it's been really fun to see what everybody's up to. Like, you're doing so much stuff. Like, I feel like I've got a lot going on, but I've got like 2 things I do.
Yeah.
They're just really time consuming. But it's cool. That might be my favorite part of doing this is getting to meet up with people and see what they're up to.
Yeah. Well, going back to that 10-0 team, that trophy is still at the middle school. I think we need to go and like take
need
it.
to go raid the middle school
because no one else is looking at it.
Yeah.
You know how cool that'd be. Like
I have shelves that I want to put up here.
We could just put it right there.
And we could sit it up here.
I feel like.
Why do we get it though?
Huh?
Why do we get it?
Because I was holding it in the picture.
That's fair. That's fair.
I remember whenever I was little and whenever we'd win a trophy like as a team or something, I'd always be the one that want to hold it. I don't know why, but I felt like I always deserved it, which I didn't.
I did that in high school when we won the district championship in basketball.
Yeah.
If you see any picture after that, I feel so bad about that. Kind of like I always have the trophy in my hand. It was like everybody always talks to me. Bryce always jokes with me about that. He's like, I don't ever have a picture with the trophy, but every time I look, it's in your hands. I'm like, sorry, guys.
My bad.
Yeah.
But we might need to go and take that because like, who's using it? You know, it's just in a trophy case behind a bunch of other trophies.
Maybe we can get we can get Banks on it.
I know some people at the middle school.
Send her in.
I know the head
Walk
football
up from the
coach at
ATC.
middle school.
There's that big banner too with all our names
I
on
know
it.
it.
Yeah, we can
We
get
can
that.
hang that on. Like,
Hang it up in here.
maybe not in here. I don't know
I
if
don't
there's
know.
room. I don't know if that'd be a good backdrop. We didn't talk about this last week or 2 weeks ago.
I've been looking at
thought we
that.
did.
I think we just put it
I
up.
think we talked about it with Cole.
We might have.
No, we can talk about it again.
But Alexis made me that for graduation. I thought that was really nice of her. That was really cool. But
That's awesome.
she painted that up and looks pretty nice. But that's our only decor and the Hot Wheel. But I don't think I have the Hot Wheel in frame this week.
Oh,
But-
it's a different angle.
It's a different angle. We've
It's a
joked
very
about
square
it.
angle.
There's a different angle in each video. It's never in the same spot. If you've
We're gonna
noticed.
switch it up, and one day the camera's gonna be like right here,
Staring straight at me. But yeah, that team was awesome. We played Harrison County. I remember, and we were down. And I remember thinking, like, this is such a bad attitude to have. But I remember thinking, like, in the third quarter of that game, I can't remember what the final score was. I can't remember who scored touchdowns when. But I remember thinking at one point, I was on defense. And I was, like, standing there up next to the ball. I was either like a defensive tackle or end or whatever. And I remember thinking Harrison County was in their huddle and we're getting beat. I'm like, we're undefeated. I guess second place isn't too bad. Because I remember thinking that for whatever reason. Then Pepper Alley comes out of nowhere and gets like a big sack or like forced fumble or something.
He got a pick six.
Pick six, that's what it was. Yeah. I remember thinking that. Then he got like a pick six, like the next play or something crazy like that.
I still say that was the best, like one of the best football games I've ever seen. And I know it may have seemed bigger than it was.
Yeah.
But if you remember the last play of the first half, we had them backed up all the way next to the end zone, and they threw a big long pass, and it bounced off like a helmet.
Yeah.
And off a hand, and then caught for a touchdown. And I just looked around. I think it was like 14-0 or something at that point. I just looked around like you said, like, we're undefeated. Is this it? Like everything is bouncing their way. And then it was just crazy. I feel like our group was just like the comeback guys.
Yeah.
We had the comeback in middle school against Madison Middle and then that.
Yeah. Is that what the game that got
rained out
and then we picked it back up?
Yeah, it was Madison Middle.
It was awesome.
I remember playing Harrison County, and there was some kid, and
I was going to get to this.
And I remember your dad, I think it was your dad, like really got into me.
Back when we were little?
Yeah, and he was like, you need to blow him out. Just drive him to the end zone. And he, like, it felt like I was trying to block a fridge in front of a Ford Escort.
And he was growling at you.
And he was growling at me. Yeah, and like one play, I don't know what I did because I was little. I had like no technique.
Yeah.
But I got under him, and I remember moving him out, and I was like, I've got him. Like, I've got him now.
Yeah.
And then I just kept getting in his hip. I don't know. Like, I'd love to meet this guy. I know a couple guys from Harris County, and I really hope it's not them. 'Cause I don't.
That big fullback they had in high school, I swear that was that guy on the line.
Probably was.
It could have been.
Probably was.
I've always felt that. I don't know, but I feel like that guy was the same guy because that guy was massive.
Yeah.
He's the same guy that pancaked me and hurt my shoulder my senior year.
I remember one time during that game, I got hurt or something, and I came over to the sideline crying. I mean, I was in 6th grade, but we'll put that out there. But I came over to the sideline crying, and Dad looked at me. He, like, grabbed me by my shoulder pads and was, like, looking at me. And I remember looking up at him, just crying. He said, Gabe, are you hurt? Are you injured? He said, if you're injured, you're going to sit over here. But if you're hurt, you're getting back in the game. I said, I'm hurt. And then I got back in there.
Football's such a good thing, man.
I know it.
Mason's getting into it.
Is he?
He's playing high school
Thank
now.
goodness.
And
I'm glad.
One of his coaches pulled him aside after practice the other day and told him he may be one of the only freshmen that sees a varsity field. And I was like, "Let's go, man!"
Mason's
That's
huge.
awesome.
Have you seen pictures of him here?
I've heard about it. They were talking about him last year, how bad they missed him on the team, on the middle school team.
Yeah.
And how him moving that.
He's bigger than me.
He's taller than me. Like,
he's taller than me, and
I just remember him as that little redhead kid
that tried to fight Lucas Puckett. That's a very good testament to Mason, though.
Absolutely.
He's a good kid. I'm really excited for him. I hope he gets to play.
Yeah.
I hope so too. That's awesome.
He called me the other day and he was like, I got put on my butt at practice. And like he was excited that he got put on his butt. So I think he's going to do really well. He doesn't seem as scared as I was.
Yeah.
Or as he used to be. Like he was happy that this big kid, that's like a junior, just was wearing him out at practice. He was like, it's so awesome.
Hey, he might have helped him up. We had some seniors that were they would rub their nose in.
Yeah.
How big is that school he goes to? Him and Gracie.
I keep asking how big his football team is, and you know how he is.
He probably doesn't
I don't know. It's like, but it's a good sized school. Football's not as big out there, but if I had to guess, it's probably about the size of like a Madison County team.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. That probably sounds about right.
I think they might have a freshman team.
Yeah.
But don't quote me on that. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. But what was it? We scored that PVC team. We won. I can't remember. They threw like a Hail Mary up to you at one point, didn't they?
I was so frustrated and I know that's so selfish to say, but we had been throwing the ball, running that TD pass. We literally had a play called TD pass.
Yeah.
And it was like, we would run that on like every first play of the game, every week. It was like that was the first play call. And I remember we changed everything up that week. And we usually had Braden Waddle as like a little H-back.
Yeah.
And Ty would run the ball out of quarterback most of the time. And we would run like quarterback power or quarterback sweep or something like that. But this week, and I feel like you probably remember this where you were the center, but we went under center.
Yeah.
And I know that was new, and we had Braden like back at like this little fullback almost. Mm-hmm. And we were just like wedge, quarterback sneak, fullback dive. I'm standing out there at receiver. I'm like, what are we doing, man? I remember I was like so mad at my dad. I was like, you just throw me the ball. One time they got like 10 people in the box. Yeah. I remember I was so mad, and he was like, trust it.
Yeah.
And he was right, because I'll still say that because we had ran the ball and we were on like the 50-yard line, mm-hmm. or maybe a little bit like the 45 on the other side. And it still amazes me to this day that Ty got that threw that ball that far as sixth graders, I guess that we were then. But I still say that is probably the best sports play I've ever had, because I don't know how I even caught the ball. I kind of like felt like I blacked out or something in the moment. Yeah. And I remember my dad, he would always stay on me about this stuff. But I remember when I caught that pass, I looked up, my dad was like right on the sideline, like right next to me. And for once in my life, I showed like a ton of emotion. Like I threw the ball down and was like screaming. And usually my dad would like jerk me off the field for that. Like, and he was just over there too, just clapping and stuff. And I was like, and then we quarterback sneak the next play, and scored. And that, and then I remember Layden Rollins clean that guy out on the last play, and they tried to like lateral it around. But I still say that was like the greatest sports moment I ever had. It was like the coolest play I ever made, because I was just so mad the whole game. And then the dad was like, we're building it up we're going to do it at the end. And then threw that big pass. I was like, this is awesome. Yeah. It's awesome.
I don't remember much of that game, and I don't remember much of many football games we played. Like, I remember going and playing them. I remember being there, but I don't remember like each individual play. Yeah. I guess for me, they kind of all ran together, because it was either block this guy or block that guy or block that guy. Yeah. So it all kind of run together, and I don't know if CTE plays a part in it or not. But I remember that Layden Rollins play, because I was on the sideline, and I was mad that I wasn't in on defense that last play, because I was playing defense, I think, most of the game, or like half the game or whatever. And I remember I was on the sideline mad that they took me out for that last drive. I guess because they wanted a lot of faster people out running around and stuff. But because they were going to try this and that. And they got close. They were down like on the 20-yard line or something like that, weren't they? Yeah. And they were close to scoring. And I remember Layden just drilling that kid. And we won, and we all came out there.
I remember more of it.
And I remember taking pictures. There's a picture, I think me, you, and Pepper Alley, and he's holding this little neon green iPod Touch taking a selfie. I don't know where I remember that, but there's some legendary pictures out there from that game. Luke Williams, we always called him Brody, for Luke Brody Williams. Yeah. And there was pictures there. Then there's that big group picture of all of us there, and it was good times. It was
absolutely.
I wish I could go.
Big Hollenbeck, man. How about him back in the day?
Yeah. Dude. He was a stud back in the day.
I won an MVP of that one thing as a lineman. That was awesome.
I'll tell you what game I don't remember at all. Mad South.
Mad Southern.
You know what I remember from that game? I remember throwing up in the bathroom after, and B. Williams was like, "Boy, you all right there?" And I remember making fun of Trey for having a bald spot like an hour before the game. That's it. Everything else is just memory hold.
Poor Trey couldn't get his pads on before that game because his jersey was too small.
I remember like we were jumping and pulling his jersey.
What do you think them offensive linemen thought when he come out there doing that?
Yeah.
dance he'd do on them.
They're probably like, what in the world is wrong with this guy? Then Trey would lay them out. They're like, okay, I'm going to respect it.
They were probably like, this is so Estill County. Like, this is what we were talking about all week at practice.
For the first day Trey came in as a freshman, and I was spotting him on bench press, and he was like, put 345 on there or something. And he's like, he almost got it too. Like, I mean, it wasn't like he was just.
Caleb Ross.
And he was pushing it up, and I was trying to pull it up. I was like, I'm gonna die. Like, he was trying to get to. I was like, help me push, Trey. It's like I had to get somebody over there to like help me. I was like, my goodness, this dude's a beast.
They're so strong.
Yeah.
I remember hitting like, I think I did 420 on squat.
Yeah.
And then Trey like went after me, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I did like 485. It's not what I wanted." And I was like, "Dude, you're 2 years younger than me. Shut up."
Oh, Trey Burns.
Good time.
Love that guy.
He still picks me up when he sees me.
Yeah. If you see Trey Burns, he will pick you up 95% of the
I was at high school graduation in Estill, and
This past graduation?
Yeah, I saw him outside. Kirby! He ran over. I was with Raina and like her family, and her dad was like, "What in the world is going on?" And eventually he left, and her dad was like, "Who is that?" And I was like, "Ah, it's just Trey.
Just Trey.
It's just Trey.
That's
He's a good kid."
He was the king of advice.
Yeah.
He'd always give me some sort of advice. Then when he would pick me up, he would say, "You need to eat a donut."
What I loved most about that high school graduation this past year is that Landon Markham walked across the stage. Then the very next guy was Carson Mansfield.
I know.
Legendary.
I'm like,
Crazy.
What are the odds
Legendary.
of this happening? Cheesecake and truffle nuts walking across the stage right next to each other.
We just lost everybody.
Man, I got him in trouble that one time on the bus. Truffle nuts. I'd yell from the back at him. I'd be like, "Truffle nuts, do this." Man, he would
just
he'd turn around. It didn't matter if it was,
You could tell.
I will say off camera. Man, he would do anything. He'd be right behind Coach Markham up there. I'd be like, "Oh my gosh."
He was so fearless.
I don't even know where that name came from either. I don't even remember where I got that from.
Oh, truffle nuts.
Wasn't Matt talking to you? And he was like, "It has to be something that makes sense, like cheesecake and you were like, "Truffle nuts."
Just stuck.
Good times, man.
Remember Trey's woman at Wendy's?
Yeah.
We were coming back from a 7-on-7. We stopped at Wendy's, and this old woman started flirting with Trey.
Oh, I do
Everyone
remember that.
gave him
Bourbon
the
County that was,
hardest
I
time.
think.
Yeah. And everyone gave him the hardest time.
Oh, that was fun.
It's like a Wendy's attached to a gas station.
Yeah, it's there off the Hamburg exit.
Yeah. It's like
Where
a Taco Bell,
the-
McDonald's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Taco Bell and that food court. We were in there, coming back from Bourbon County.
So crazy.
That's stupid.
I remember that because Chris Rigdon was trying to get us to all come to his bonfire after that.
Yeah.
And I was like, my little fresh me was like, "Man, I'd love to go to that. That'd be awesome." And then I was like, it's going to be an interesting question to my parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried that
Love you,
one.
Chris.
I told Mom and Dad, I was like, "Yeah, we're like hanging out after the game." And they were like, "No, not a chance."
I think that's the answer I got to.
Dang it.
Like, I would love to go hang out with all those guys.
Like, "Oh no, they're not gonna drink." No.
Oh, goodness. Welp,
Good times, man.
what topics can we get into now? We got anything else that... I know you talked about, when you filled out that paper and stuff, the mental health issues about handling school and coaching and music and relationships and all that stuff. How do you want to get into that, or
Sounds great to me.
how would, I guess, what would be the right question to ask with that?
What sufferings have caused you to persevere?
There you go.
I mean,
I've
that's the
never.
whole thing.
Little Romans.
I thought about this on the way here, and I was like, do I want to make some notes about it, or do I, and I just thought, I was like, there's no reason to make note about it. I'd rather just be myself and talk about it. I've never really publicly, I guess, talked about a ton of that stuff, but I know that this is a weird thing to say, but I feel like it aligns with what you all do here at Be Good to Your Brother a ton. Is for a while, this sounds so crazy, I know, but it was like a problem. I didn't realize what a problem was.
Yeah.
Like, and I know that sounds cliche, I guess you would say, but it was like, what really is going on in your mind or going on with you? I didn't ever realize what I had, I guess, at some point. And then COVID came along, and I think a ton of people can relate to this. But that was a question in time. And I know a lot of people actually, were thriving during that time. That was like a break. That was a different life for them. But as I said earlier in the podcast about doing something all the time and doing this and doing that, I think COVID was a very, very hard time for me. And it really opened my eyes to what I see now as almost like a new world. And I feel like it was a point in my life where it was really like, I feel like in my mind it's before then and then after.
Yes.
I don't know if that resonates, but like I see that as like, I don't know if it was like a coming to my senses moment or what it was, but I know that for a while there with COVID, whenever I was stuck in the house, that my mind was everywhere. You can only play so many video games. You could only do so much right around your house. I know everybody was confused at first. Nobody really knew what we were supposed to do. And I know around where I was, we took ultimate, precautions. Like, we just were going with what everybody told us to do. What we didn't really know what we were allowed to do and whatnot. So we really took it really serious. And my mind, I'll say I had a come to my senses moment of like, my mind was rolling constantly. And more than ever. I can't even wrap around. I felt like my mind was a storm, to be honest with you. And I changed a ton about myself then. And I feel like, you hear people say it's like a crisis almost. I don't know if it was that, but it was like the way I did things, the way I saw things was changing. And to be honest, I think a big part of that had to do with I was not in the church. And I know that sounds out there, but church, watching it on my phone or whatever we were doing at that time, I know we went for a while and drove up like to the church, but we wouldn't go in. We would listen on the radio. It was like that one time of the week that I take my communion, that is a moment to sit with myself, and I take that moment so seriously always, and I'm so concentrated, and I hear nothing but what I'm talking to the Lord at that point. And I always take so much pride in that moment. I didn't get that then, and I felt like every week was just a cycle of a bad place, to be honest. And it changed a lot about me, and I think it really did hurt my relationship for a while with God. And it's not that I was straying away or anything of that sort, but that I was so confused and didn't know why this was happening. And it's wrong to do that. It's wrong to ask why, but I was asking why a lot. And I feel like every day was a battle, truly, and it was hard to get up some of those days. And when we came out of COVID, and I felt like a lot of the things were very different around me. A lot of things were restricted. A lot of things were different. I was in one of the worst mental states that I've ever been, and getting back out and around people and stuff was hard for me at first. Mm-hmm. And I almost felt like before that and after that, I came out as a really different person there for a while. And I was almost, and you all know me, you all have always known me to be more outgoing, and I love to talk to people. That's one reason I love to do this. I love to get on here and talk, and I value our relationships. But I feel like for a while, that was all a blur for me. I wanted to stay away from people after that. I wasn't myself. I wasn't living to the expectations that I expected myself. I was so in my own head, and that I really wasn't seeing what God had for me, but seeing more of what I had for myself. Mm-hmm. And making decisions that weren't me. And I learned a ton. I'm in a sense, I'm thankful for some of the things I went through and seen and did that I should have not been doing or been around. And it has a lot to do with where my mental was at that time. I feel like I just wasn't me. I wasn't seeing, and I know I seen a shift. Like I said, when I got back into the physical church building, that made a massive difference for me. And I will say, ever since then, I really, really value everything about life so much more, because I realized how quickly a ton of things could be taken away from you or changed. And I saw a lot of things. I saw a lot of, be quite frank, traumatic things that really changed the way I view the world. And I know that sounds very deep, but it's like the value of what you have, the value of waking up, the value of having a clear mind, and the value of your relationship with your family, your friends, and most of all for me, the Lord. It's something that we don't deserve. And I know I don't, for sure. I have fell short. I know we all do many times, but to say that it was cloudy a lot of the days. Hard to wake up. And for me, the way I was raised and the way I've been taught, and this is a positive thing. I'm glad I was like this, but I am very, very, I would say, amongst myself, to, if I have something wrong or have something going on, I don't feel the need to portray it on everybody else. And that could be bad sometimes, because in my opinion, with mental health, you really need to have someone to talk to or to be there. And it's not that I don't have the people around me. I have a great support staff and everything I do in life, and people I can rely on and talk to at all times. But for me, it was a sense of, I don't want to put this on you. I don't want to have to be a burden to you, or you have to listen to me, because I know everyone has their own thing. And everyone is going through something, and a lot of the times you don't realize that. And I would say that's how it was with me for a lot of time. You wouldn't realize something was going on with me because I didn't know how to portray myself. I'll get into that a little bit with the music, which it's stuff like that people don't understand, that with me, that people they'll just see the outside picture of it. Say, like football, music, anything that I do that I love, they see the outside picture of it. When for me, it was a comfort spot. It was a expression. It was a way to just simply be me. And it was tough. I know a lot of people were battling. A lot of my closest friends, a lot of my family battling the same way I did during that time. Mm-hmm. But I have patches where I feel like that's part of me now.
Yeah.
My mind goes back to there, and that was times sometimes, and it's a tough thought. It's I pray about those days every day. I think it opened my eyes a ton, and it allowed me to see things a lot differently. And I'm very grateful in a way, because I feel like there's certain things I do now that are, in a way, so much improved than what I was. And like I said, I truly value things different now.
Well, thanks for sharing that. I know that can be hard.
Yeah.
Sharing stories like that, and appreciate that. But it seems like, I know COVID was hard for everyone, but I feel like it hit us at probably the worst possible time that it could ever hit anybody. I mean, we're sophomores in high school. What are we, 15, 16 years old? I mean, that's when people are starting to mature and turn into adults, right? And it just hit us at the worst possible time.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I know for me, it was a lot of, I guess, just almost loneliness. I mean, you're sitting staring at the same three people that you see every day, for my case, like sister, mom, and dad. You just see the same people every day. And like, well, what are you supposed to do in this situation? And some people handled it better than others. And I know for me, it's like, well, like you said, there's only so many video games you can play. There's only so much stuff you can do. And it was tough time, really hard time. And but that's something that shaped us into what we are today. It's like we look back and it's like, well, if we can get through that, we can get through literally anything, you know. And so I think I appreciate you sharing that. It's really,
yeah, it means a lot. Mental health is not talked about enough, I don't think.
For men,
especially for men, it is still Men's Mental Health Month.
yeah.
Right? And it's a really tough subject. I've talked to you about wanting to do an episode where I get into some of the mental health struggles I've faced. I still want to do that. But yeah, it's good to talk about. It's good to bring awareness to it. Be Good to Your Brother is like the perfect name. Because like I feel like guys are so prone to just like shutting it off and like I have something I have to do. Like I have a job, I have a goal. Let's just shut that down because I can't deal with it right now. That's like, it's so detrimental to everything you want to do. Because if you don't take care of it, it's going to consume you. And then you can't take care of the people or your responsibilities that you're trying to take care of by shutting it off. So it's easy to try and ignore it, but it definitely needs to be talked about more. So.
And I feel like there's better ways to. I feel like this is a great way to express it too. It's like there's always that stigma around. It's like, well, you're not allowed to talk about things. You're not allowed to. You got to keep it to yourself. And like for you, you said you found music and that was your way to express things through it. And like there's ways to express your emotions without sitting down and having a one-on-one talk, because that can be uncomfortable a lot of the times. So as long as you're expressing those emotions in a positive way, I think that's very important, because I know people in my life that they don't express their emotions at all, and when they do come out, they're negative a lot of the times. And so I think it's very important to find that positive way for you to express how you're feeling, whether it's talking to somebody, whether it's going for a run, whether it's, writing down lyrics, whether it's this or that. Make sure it's something that's positive and that you're not just keeping it in all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just it's a hard thing to deal with, and everyone deals with it. So I don't get why it's not. I feel like it's starting to get more of a thing of it's cooler to talk about, I guess. But It's a difficult subject to actually sit down and talk about, and I'm glad that we're comfortable enough to share it with other people and help other people out, because like it's dangerous. It can really be dangerous to a lot of people. So it's good that we're sharing this. I
think that's one of the big things I really take away. Like I said, I value things more. Another thing that you hit on there that really reminded me is a lot of people are. This is like one of my mottos in life, and obviously I would say you all relate to this, because what you're doing right here with this and how great this is that people are so afraid of being truly who they are, and being, it's like, if you want to put it in today's terms, everyone is scared of something being cringe or something of that sort, and that they really brainwash themselves so much that they're not who they really are when they portray themselves.
Yeah.
And I've always took a lot of value into simply being me.
Yeah.
And doing the things that I want to, who I want to be and what I want to portray to the world. And I feel like I said, with COVID, it took everything that was very, very important to me. It either, reconstructed that or put it a different way. Like I said, with church, then there's no sports hardly to watch, and that's always, very important to me. I couldn't, go see people I love to be around and stuff like that. It hindered all those things, and I think it hit an even bigger point, like you said, to the point where people are like not being who they are, and who they want to be, because everyone is so into the social media aspect and things like that it's just a constant judgment of everyone. You're constantly being watched. Your life is not your life. It's seen by everybody on the social medias and stuff like that, and it's hard to be you in a way that you can be accepted. So I really see that.
COVID was really scary because everybody was behind a screen.
Yeah.
Like, you look on social media, like, I don't post on social media. I got married and didn't even make a Facebook post. I feel kind of bad about that, but it's just not. I don't care for it.
Yeah.
But like, when people post on social media, it's usually something important. It's not often something bad. You're not like, oh, I just like had to drain my savings to take care of my car, or else I wouldn't be able to do anything. Like I wouldn't be able to go to work or anything.
Yeah.
But like, you see everybody's best moments on social media, and then everybody's like, well, I have to like
live up to that.
Their life is perfect because I'm seeing their whole life right now on social media, and you're not. You're seeing like the best moments.
Yeah.
And you have to try to one-up it on social media and take your vacation and post about it on your social media.
Yeah.
To show off how perfect your life is. It's a really scary cycle. And it's such a bad way of communicating. It's like, I think about driving and shopping carts.
Yeah.
Whenever you're driving down the road and somebody just like whips right in front of you, cuts you off.
Yeah.
Or like something like that, and then you like road rage, if somebody flips you off, you get mad and yell at somebody on the road. It's like, if I was driving a shopping cart in Walmart, pushing it around, and that just happened, none of that would have happened.
Yeah.
Why? Because I'm right there.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And if I wanted to, I could hit you in the face for yelling at me. And if I did something wrong, you could hit me in the face for doing that. And there's no barrier.
Yeah.
Social media is the same thing. It's like if I was talking to you about politics and you support one party, I support a different party, right in front of each other, we probably wouldn't make threats like, I'll kill you for your political opinions.
Yeah.
We would probably be like, oh, well, see, I understand why you value that.
Yeah.
It's a lot different. And
but you get online.
You're online, and there's...
Start beefing.
I mean, you can't even break a window to get to somebody online like you can on the road.
Yeah.
It's a lot different. And people... It's very easy to have a team online.
Yeah.
It's literally the words I was about to say. It's easy.
So easy.
Yeah. It's like another, like I'm guilty of that because like you were talking about, like you just post your best life. Like if we go through my Instagram right now, let's look at it. Let's go through my Instagram and I've got marathon post.
Pull that up.
Marathon post, me in New York, race, me in Cleveland, race. Those are all straight good things, good positive things. I don't get on here and post all the struggles I have. I don't get on here and talk about hard, bad things that happen to me. It's all the good stuff.
Yeah.
And that's how a lot of people see you.
Yeah.
That don't see you all the time or know you. They see you as that. Like that's who they think you are, and they don't understand the other things. That's the same way with all of us. I mean, you can just look on there anytime you want. It's that accessible, and that's what they see and think.
So I think it's good to, when we do portray ourselves, I guess in an online form, because, you know, I remember we had a sports management club meeting and we made an online business card. So everything's literally online now. And so when we portray ourselves online, it's good to be one of our A's, authentic. Be authentic with yourself. It's like, I remember, like last night on my run, I didn't have as good of a run as I wanted it to be. And so when I made my little post about it on my Snapchat story, I was like, this isn't where I wanted it to be, but that's okay. We're still going to get through it. And so it's good to, that's just for me anyways. I think it's good to make it known that, hey, you're not perfect all the time. Like, you're going to have trials. You're going to have tribulations, one of my favorite songs. But there's just things like that. So, yeah, you got to be authentic in how you are and what you portray about yourself.
And to the adverse of that, you also have to look at social media as the best moments of somebody's life. And I'm not saying that, like, if you have a bad day, you should make an Instagram post. Like, I'm not trying to say that. Like, post your vacation on Instagram.
Yeah.
Post that you just had your first kid. Post that you just got married. It's cool.
Yeah.
But whenever you're the one scrolling through Facebook or Instagram, just think,
understand,
like, this person's life isn't perfect.
Yeah.
I'm not worthless.
Yeah.
Because you get to that so fast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially people our age. Like, you meet up with somebody, you're like, how are you doing? And they're like, oh, I'm great. I just graduated college. I have a perfect job and I'm going on vacation. You're like, well, I suck. It's like, it's very easy to do.
Mm-hmm. I like that you brought that up. That's a good point.
Before we segue.
I like that shopping cart analogy too.
Yeah.
I don't remember where I heard that. It might have been a comedian talking about it. But I always think about that.
Whenever, good.
Like, I pull out in front of somebody with a shopping cart. It's a lot different than on the road.
Yeah. What were you saying before we segue?
I need to pee before we segue into anything else.
All right, let's take a pee break.
Okay, pee.
All right, so I guess if you're willing to, we can get into your music stuff now, because that's what I'm really excited to hear about. I don't know about you, but I'm excited too. That's where most of my kind of questions got into it. All right. So my first question for you was, how did you get started in it? Which you kind of answered as a way to kind of express your emotions and stuff. But if you want to go into, or I guess what inspired you, I guess would be the best question into your career. Because how many songs you got? Like, you probably got close to 100, don't you? Out there.
Out. I would say, with this new stuff, which is 15 more, it's probably closer to 50.
50. Okay.
But it's overall, the way I make music is studio software, and I would say it's countless in there. 1,000, I would say, this unreleased, this stuff like that, and that's some unfinished. That's some not all the way done and stuff like that. But it's an interesting thing. As far as you asked, getting into it, love started for it. I've always had love for music. It's been a big part of my life, most of my life. And in middle school, I really started to learn more about, the art of music. And listening to things cohesively and as a piece instead of just, finding a song I like and really getting into it. So at first, this was funny, but in the back of Mr. Martin's class, in science class, I found an app, and it was a way that you could make music. Because I didn't know how these people that produce music had done it. I was like, how do they do all this? Like, how do they get it to sound so quality? And I mean, I knew the simple stuff. They record on a microphone and they do stuff, but I didn't really understand what goes into it. And I found this app, and it was like you record out of your phone like this, and it was like that was just a way to start and see something like that. And me and Alec would do that in the back of Mr. Martin's class. Like when we would get done with whatever, we would just be back there. So a lot of stuff that we would even try to do or whatever, you would hear that, like you would hear the class talking in the back of something, and it was just, we would just be like, oh, this is awesome, like this is something cool. And I guess the first thing that really struck me was the art of putting something together, and the album making process. That's always been something that's so unique to me, is how people find a story related to themselves and make the whole piece about that, about a certain thing. And I really wanted to do that. So with that app, I was like, I'm gonna make an album. Like that's a goal of mine. I want to do that. So I was in 7th grade or 8th grade, one of the two. Something of that sort. And I had that app. That was still the way I had done it back then. And it was like, I want to make an album. So I could not save songs. If you wanted to post a song to this app, it had to be recorded like right as you did it. So I had all these songs I was writing out, and they were very elementary, I would say then, and very probably goofy, really, of what I thought I was dealing with or something of that sort, of middle school, or what I was doing then or whatever. And I remember Luke Williams came over to my house the day that I was going to supposedly drop this album, and it was called Gone. And I had all the songs written out on a notebook like that, and it was like, I want to be like all the artists. They do Friday at midnight. That's how the music, since there's streaming and Spotify and Apple Music and all that, is work. That's when people typically drop their albums, Friday at midnight. I was like, I got to be that guy. 11:45, I'm like doing this song, post, next song, post, and then I would be like, okay, who wants it? And I would have to send it out, because who has that app? I think it was called like Rap Chat or something. I was like, who has this app? And I would have to send like this big link to I'd post my story. Who wants this? I would have to post it out there. And I was quickly realizing, like, that is not the way that people do things. Like that.
I remember listening to it.
Yeah, that is not the thing. I remember we would go in there and in the back of one of the songs, Luke is in there listening to Grove Street Party. He was like, it's a party in the background of my song. And I went to football practice, and Cade Berryman was like, looked at me, he's like, you're the worst. You're the worst artist I've ever heard. And I was like, now looking back on it, it's like, yeah, he was probably right. There's, I was in the bathroom of my basement trying to record this. It was like, it's awful. So I always had a love for it, though. And after that, that's who I was back then. That's how I lived. I shut down those comments. Back then, that was probably like, hey, coach, like, that's awful. And all this, older people my sister's age then and stuff, coming up joking to me, That's how anything goes. It's different around here, and that's fine. It was like, I can do this, but that is a very hard way to do it and different way to do it. So before me, and as you know, I have many songs with him. Alec Arthur has been, that's my sidekick in music. He's been a kind of like my duo because I couldn't do it myself to start out with, especially a place like here and the music I make is, you know, it's a variety of genre. It really is. A lot of people, you know, think, oh, you want to just rap on a beat. That's not what really it is. I've made from pop to rap to indie pop to R&B, Afro pop. I mean, it's a variety of things. I've always took pride in that, and it's more than just getting on this beat that you hear and making music. So Alec actually got the stuff to actually record on. He got the mic. He got a MacBook, which is, to be honest, MacBooks, a lot of people don't realize this, but the original reason for them making MacBooks is to make music. MacBooks are meant for making music. And he got all that stuff and the interface, which I understood none of this, and that's the thing that plugs into the computer and the mic that syncs it all. And he was getting all this stuff, and his dad, Dickie, helped him get all that stuff, and Dickie has been a very big supporter and very helpful of not only his career but my career in it too, in helping to get all that stuff. So at first it was at Alec's mom's house, Stephanie's, that would be at, and that was before I could drive. And Alec really kind of we built it off each other, but he really started doing it first, then like officially doing it. And I know that was when we were freshmen and people were starting to hear him, and you know, he just kept gradually kind of getting better. And at first a lot of people talked about him, you know, what is this guy doing, and then as you went on, I don't know if y'all realize this, but slowly people were like, he's got something going, like this just keeps getting better, and the improvement's really cool to see. And I couldn't drive then. I couldn't really do anything for a while. I always had these ideas and things flowing, but I never really did anything. I remember a big moment that really shifted one way I thought about it was at prom whenever I was a freshman and went with Alexis. And I went, and they got Alec's song played at the prom. And everyone in there was like singing word for word like his song, and it was Hologram. And that was like his first song that kind of took off a little bit. That's got lots of plays. And around the state of Kentucky for sure, really made its way around the state of Kentucky. And he I remember that moment, and everybody was singing that song, and I was like, dude, that's awesome. Like, that's so cool he gets to do that. And so the first time I ever got to actually record on a microphone, I say this in the documentary, if you go back and watch that. You'll have to send that link to Jake too. That they it's the science classes, man. I don't know what we were doing in science classes in high school, but it was like one of the last days of school of my freshman year, and we were in Callie Rogers' class. It was that big classroom. You remember that had the science desk, and it had that big closet in the back. Every day for that semester, me and Alec would beg her. She'd be like, can we go in the back closet back there? We have something we want to do. And we wouldn't tell her what we were doing, and we were scared and whatever. And we were like, but we have something we want to do back there. And she was like, finally, it was like the last week of school. We did like our last assignment. I mean, rushed through it. It was one of those things where we were taping stuff together. You remember like all the stuff for her. And we were like, we're going back there and we're making a song in the back. And Alec brought his stuff in his backpack. All this big laptop. He's got the microphone, closed up in there. And we went back there and we started a song. And what was that song called? I don't know. It was like Count Me Out or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the bell rang like halfway through it.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang it, man. Like, he had done like the chorus of the song, like first. It was like a pop style song. He had done the chorus, and I was like, this is the whole point. Like, he was like showing me how to use the stuff and do all this. I was like, this is the whole point of me being here. You get to record on this stuff all the time. I was wanting to make a song, and it was like, I didn't even get to do anything.
Yeah.
And the next week, first week after school, I always remember it was the first week of June, we would always go to Georgetown camp, basketball camp.
Yeah.
And basically that was just, we would stay in the dorms at Georgetown and go play games. We'd play like 4 or 5 games every day. It was like AAU almost.
Yeah.
It was with the high school team. That was our first time doing it with the high school. And me and Alec, we all went into Kobe Click and Joe Benton's room. Mm-hmm. And they had the biggest room there. And we were just all hanging out as a team. Mm-hmm. Well, Alec brought the music stuff to camp.
Yeah.
And we were going to do something there. So I remember the first time I ever recorded on a real mic was in front of the whole basketball team. And Coach Robs, and Coach Bentley were both in there watching me. The whole team is behind me. And we finished that. Me and Alec both finished that song there. And that was the first time I ever got to do it. And I don't know. It was something about the feeling of the headphones on and being able to hear yourself. Because you can hear yourself whenever you can hear the way you do it. And it was like, I'm listening to myself and doing this. And it was one of the coolest things ever. And I was like, this is something I really want to do. And it was just so crazy. And I did it the first time in front of Coach Bentley. So, she's like, oh, it's awesome, buddy. you know.
What song was it?
Count Me Out. We finished the song. It's not out. No,
oh, okay.
I have the song.
Yeah.
I have all these files, and it was in the back there, and then finished at Georgetown camp. It was really cool.
That's neat.
Yeah.
So, you talked about a little bit of kind of like the outside noise, because I know a lot, at least from what I heard, and I probably contributed to it a little bit, sadly, but like the kind of like everyone just you guys are doing something different, and everyone didn't like it, or they hated you on it for whatever stupid reason, and so like how did you go about handling that? Because you're doing something you really like, and everyone else says it sucks, or everyone else says that, why are you doing that? That's just stupid. How did you go about?
It's tearing you down, dude.
No, I'm sorry, but like, how did you handle that, all that negativity and outside noise? Because I know there was a lot of it.
First thing, it's cliche, but it's motivation.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Anything you do here where we're from that's different, it's gonna receive that type of.
Yeah.
And I don't even see it as criticism. I see it as a way to improve.
Yeah.
And I've always said, make it to where they can't say anything.
Yeah.
Make it to where what they're going to say is going to be positive. And what I do and the genre I make and stuff like that is not really what you hear around here or typically accepted. When we did the clip, or I don't know what you'd call it, the session on the radio.
Yeah.
We were on 104.9.
Yeah.
And they talked about on there Joe Crawford, which I think this was one of the greatest points that I've heard in making music that he made, was that he said, this is so cool, the song I made, because it's not just like a guy in a room with a guitar, and they want it to sound unproduced.
Yeah.
This is well produced. This is studio. This takes mixing. This takes mastering. This takes level. There's levels to this. And it's really cool to see that around here because, I mean, as far as I know, we're really the first people to really do that around here. And when you do something like that, anything you do that's good, there's going to be somebody say something about it. That's just life. That's how it works. And like I said, with the mental health stuff and stuff like that, music for me is just simply who I am.
Yeah.
It's simply me being me. And that's what I always try to think. And like Alec, for me now, at first, it was, what are you doing? What is this? This is awful. Like I said earlier, Cade, tell me that. And as time goes on, more comes out, more goes on. I'm slowly seeing this is getting better. This is awesome. Like, you're doing something. Like, you're doing something for the people of your town. And people come up to you and they talk to you about it, and they're like really interested in it as time goes on. So it's really cool to see.
I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed listening and watching it, and just all that, because I understand how much effort goes into that. Because like, I couldn't like sitting down, because I've learned to play the guitar a little bit, and I've tried to sit down and write a song. I'm like, how in the world? And you said you got like hundreds of them. Like, I mean, it's absolutely insane how much like effort and stuff goes into it, and I've really enjoyed listening to them. Like, you know, like for me, my personal music taste, I like a little bit of hip hop and rap and stuff, and I like country and alternative and stuff. And like sometimes I find one of the songs I'm like, well, I like this one better than that one, you know. But you know, I still try to listen to all of them and be supportive. And you know, sometimes I do find a song like "You Used to Be Gone" album. I love that album. Like, I was listening to it last night when I was driving. Like, and I'm not saying that just because like you're here, but I actually enjoy listening to it. So it's neat. I really think it's cool what you guys are doing with the whole 606 collective. Is that right?
It is.
Collective.
Yes.
I kept thinking productions for whatever reason.
Yeah, I've got that wrote down.
But it's collective. If you want to talk about that a little bit, that was my next question. What started the 606 collective, and how did that get rolling? I know you talked about it with Alec and stuff, but there's like 3 or 4 other people in it too.
So that started. So the way we always look at it. It was me and Alec, and we made music together. And then they're a couple years older than us, the other 2 members, and they say it's kind of like the same way for them. The same background and stuff I had. It's Morgan Seals and Jeremy Reynolds, and they always made music together growing up and stuff of that sort. And it was like us and them, and it wasn't like there was any tension there or anything before, but it was like we never were on the same page really with anything, because they were a little older than us. They were doing their own thing and we were doing ours. And then Alec and Morgan got to talking a little bit about music and got in together. And I remember when I was young, and this was back whenever I was, you know, sounding terribly probably and not really doing anything right. And I know he's going to watch this, so I'm calling him out a little bit on here. But I reached out to Morgan because I knew he had the stuff. I knew he had the ability and all that to do it, and he kind of flaked me a little bit, like, because I wasn't really proven yet. I wasn't anything like that. And he was like, never really gave me an answer back. So then a couple years later, I know that we would always listen to them, and they would always listen to us. We have this talk nowadays. It was like the OMG song that really took off a moment for me. And then they had a song called Volume 4, and we had listened to that in Miss Farmer's class, and me and Alec had, and they had listened to that somewhere in school as well or something like that. And it was like those moments came together, and we were like, we could really do something together. So Alec and Morgan got into talks, and then one night, Alec has a full-blown studio in his house, and that's where 606 does a lot of their stuff as a unit. And so I remember one night, this was 2022, it was about around Halloween or something of those sort. And Alec texted me, and he was like, you got to come over. We're doing a studio session. And I was like, I hadn't done anything for a year and a half to do with music. I thought to myself, it was kind of like, I don't have the stuff. I don't know what I'm getting. I don't know what to get and all this. Stuff confused me bad. And I was like, hate I'm receiving, like you said, the stuff. I just do it for fun, kind of. Really, I don't really know if this is something I want to do, actually. And he was like, you got to come. And the only thing I'd had out then was 2 features. We were both on Alec's songs.
Yeah.
And they did really well. They got good feedback from people. Watch My Moves, which is not on platforms right now. It got something happened with it. And then the OG song, and they were like, we want you to come in. We got these people here. And I was like, these people here? They're like, what are you talking about? And I go there, and it ended up being Morgan and Germ. And it was like an instant gel.
Yeah.
You've probably heard of the song 606 Freestyle.
Yeah.
We did that the first day that we ever got together as a unit. That's what we made that night.
Is that the one with Cade on the cover?
Yeah. We did that night, and we made a group chat, and from then stuff kind of just took off with us as a unit, and we started talking about making music together, building off each other, helping each other, and being a unit rather than trying to do all our stuff by ourselves, because we knew the stuff we did and the style and how things are, like I said around here, that it's better to have a unit than it is to try to do it all by yourself. And the marketing aspect, getting your stuff out there, getting it around, is much easier with 4 people than it is 1.
Yeah.
So we really came together like that. And ever since, it's just been
That's cool.
a group, really.
That's cool. And I like how, like, in all your albums and just everyone's stuff together, each of you, like, you had a feature on Morgan's new album he just released, and like you got all them on your album. Like, you're always with Alec, and Alec's always with like everyone else. So I think it's cool how you guys support each other and you're always helping each other out. What were you saying?
I just I'm blown away by the ability to get out there and do something that different. Because like doing this, like, it took me a whole lot of one-on-one convincing to be able to actually sit in front of a camera. And all we do is talk.
Yeah.
And it's completely not productive. But to put, I've been sitting here thinking, to put my emotions into a song, write it, do everything, and then put it out there, I don't think I could. And
it was a years worth of a process. It was, we'll say it like a pool. Dip my toes in.
Yeah.
Get a little, what's it feel like? Is it cold? And then I'm like, okay, well, maybe we want to sit on the edge of the pool. Well, now we're going to get in the pool. It's it was constantly, I was scared. I was scared at first. I dodged it. I didn't want to hear negativity around me. I didn't want to seem like I want the spotlight on me. I didn't want to seem like I was just doing something crazy or something of that sort. But it was hard. It was a yearly process.
Mm-hmm. When Alex started putting out music in high school, I was like, what in the world?
Yeah.
It just didn't make sense to me because you've said it a lot, around here, it just doesn't suit the area.
No.
But that's just all the more fearlessness of making something and putting it out there.
It's sad to say, but it's like the typical stereotype. It's like, not only are you a white hip hop artist, but you are from a country style area, it's different. It is.
What I think really what it was, at least for me thinking back to it, it's like the reason that we were probably like that, or we thought those ways, because that we're like, oh crap, this guy's doing something he loves to do. I'm jealous of it. Let's put him down. or I'm too scared to actually.
That's the easy way. That's the easy way.
Yeah, and I look back at it, and that's probably if I ever had them thoughts or stuff, or probably said stuff about it. It's like, well, I'm just insecure about myself, and I just want to. It's like but in reality, I'm like, that's looking back, like that's really sick that you're able to sit down and have something that you want to make, you want to create, and be able to share that. Like, why is everyone hating on that? It doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you not want to try to support it?
Yeah,
I don't know. That's
a way that's one thing I don't understand either. Is if everyone were to support each other and like things like this, things like music, and get on with it, you could really make a name out of a place like we're from, or you could really make a staple of someone or something that they do if everyone would just rally around each other. And it seems like the more I go on, and I'd say it's the same with podcasts, the more you all go on, the more people tend to flock to it and give more credit, and you get better. I mean, you all, I can see that, and you all continue to get better, and it's a cool process to see, and that's the biggest thing for me, the process. It's just, that's what it is.
There's a lot of potential in the area for music. Like Estill County could become a music scene.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Pretty easily.
I mean, we have the yard. We have the yard out there. We have a music stage in Ravenna.
People like you that are doing your own thing, and Tyler Childers and Sonora Childers live here. Like,
I know it.
It could happen. But sorry, I cut you off a little bit.
I was just going to say, going in, I kind of want to go into your point there, but I was just going to say, staying consistent with it. Like, we're on episode 20, and you've been doing this consistently for releasing, like, singles or just whatever for, 2-3 years now?
3 years.
So, just staying consistent with it, and people will grow and learn to, like, oh, this guy's serious in it. This is like, okay, let's get on board with it.
That's another hard thing. It's this one that's coming next Friday is 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, I know I've, released some stuff since and done some this and that, but as far as an album goes, this is my first one since 2023. And it took that long.
Yeah.
It is truly, like, it's 15 songs, and you're like, 2 years, 15 songs? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But as far as the piece coming together and being what I want it to sound like as one, I don't want it to be 15 songs. I want it to be a piece of one.
Yeah.
Is like, it's really cool to see it all come together, and takes that long to really do everything.
I'm excited for it.
I remember listening to Jelly Roll on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he was like, he's talking about how, like, because he had an album coming out. He was talking about how, like, it had literally been years and hundreds of songs, probably thousands of songs that he's written that'll never go anywhere. He's like, they all suck.
That's
but
me.
it's like, it's part of the process. It's just like, you've got to be that dedicated to it. And it blew my mind listening to that. And he's kind of similar. Like, I don't think he's from a major city or anything, but he's like he's producing his own kind of music, and people loved it because it was authentic and it was different. And
I agree.
But going back to your point about the music in this area, it's like, well, we got the Gorge right next door, and they have all those music festivals and stuff. It's like, we have the yard out there, and I've known of maybe 1 or 2 things that's actually been put out there. It's like they had a fundraiser for his name was Grayson Webb. His grandma goes to my church. She set up this big fundraiser, and they had this big old festival to raise money for him because he's real bad sick and stuff like that. But they were donating it out and all that. But like, we have that in Ravenna, in our county. We have this big music festival stage that was built for things like that. So I don't know if that's anything you guys would be interested in getting into, or I don't know how live performances and be like. I know you guys done a few live performances and stuff, but I don't know. That might be something
for sure.
You could be interested in, like talk to Michael Hardy, because he was a big time sponsor of that. So if you want to, I don't know. That's just an idea.
Oh, for sure. I appreciate it too.
We park at a recording studio.
Yeah, like when we go run,
we park at a recording studio.
Yeah, like right next door, and they have live stuff there. I think Friday night, Saturday nights, or something like that. So I mean, that's another opportunity that
we're going on 104.9 soon too for an actual interview. I know we were on there and they did a segment on us and played a few songs and whatnot, but we're actually going on there to do an interview too soon, so that's awesome. Should be cool.
That's cool. That's neat. So my next question, I guess here we go. The hardest part about making music, is it the lyrics? Is it the mixing and mastering? Is it coming up with the beats? Is it coming up with this or that? Is it the album, the names, album covers? Like, if you want to go into that a little bit, because I was kind of interested on that.
So I would say hardest part is me versus me. Number one is one of the hardest parts. The mixing and mastering, I owe a lot of credit to both Alec and Morgan on that, because I am not nearly as talented as them in that aspect. And Morgan, he did the majority of this coming out, and I mean, he is just like a wizard with that stuff. Like I mean, the stuff he can do and the stuff he's learned, and it just blows my mind. So for me personally, if I had to do that, yes, that would be very difficult. But I tell him what to do usually, and he knows what to do with the mixing and mastering. That's why I owe him so much credit, because he makes it sound so much better than what it is. This is crazy for me, really, but the lyrics part of it, most of my stuff is off the top of my head. Yeah. I don't, none of this new, there's not a single song on there that's written.
Really?
It's, I go in and whatever, I have song concepts. I have, what I want to talk about, the thing, but it's off the top of my head. I take a lot of pride in that. And Bryce, who lives with lives with me in Lexington, as we're at school, he could tell you, he can back me up more than anybody, and always talks very highly, which I really appreciate, on the fact that he say I blow his mind when he's watching me, because I'll go lyric by lyric, take by take, and it's just like, close my eyes and what I want to say, it just comes out. And it's just, I just fill out whatever the beat or whatever, it is, and it's just melodies and stuff just come to me. It's just,
that's cool.
It's a natural thing to me. So I would say the hardest part, a lot of people don't want to admit it, but you have your influences. You hear artists and you're like, I want my stuff to sound like that. I want it to sound that good. I want it to be like that. And the difference between them and me is, first of all, they're signed to a record label, a real one. Yeah. And they have guys right there working to make it, and they're telling them, this is what I want at this part, this part, this part. Me, the beats or whatever that I'm going to use are going to be of a selection. And I can't just go in and say, I want to change this part, or I want to change this. It's, here's your selection. You do what you can do with it. Yeah. And as far as like the sound of it, or say a bridge or a chorus or a verse, it's, you work with what you got. Yeah, that's for me. I don't have my own producers. I'm not that big or have that capability. Hope to get there, but I don't. That can be probably the hardest part in my opinion. Or, like you said, the concept of finding song concepts or album concepts. Once you get it, I know what I'm talking about. I know my life. I know what I'm thinking, how I'm doing, what I'm going through. It's just finding it. It can be tough. Yeah.
Well, cool. So you talked about the music selection. Like, where do you make your own beats? Does one of your guys make it, or like how where does that come from?
It's a variance. Best way to do it's get in tight with some producers.
Yeah.
These guys I've never talked to or never seen. A lot of them, it's over, text or email or something of that sort, and they make the style that I like. So I try to get in tight with them, and so the guy that made like OMG, the first song I was ever on, I'm still in contact with him to this day, and he knows that style, and he did. I know there's OMG too. And he did both of them. And just a little sneak peek for everybody, there is a finale of that series, of the OMG series, coming.
Yeah.
And it's the final one. And, that song really took off as what I wanted to. I realized I can actually do this. And, that song has got 50,000 plays. And it's like, that really was huge for me.
Yeah.
And so stay in touch with that guy. Morgan has dabbled around with production a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard this. I'll give a shout out. I know one of your good buddies, that Tanner
was in on it.
Made one on Morgan's new album, and I thought that was just really, really cool.
Yeah.
And not only cool that it was Tanner and that it's his brother and he showed tribute to him on there, but that it was really good.
Yeah.
That what Tanner did, and it was really cool to have not really had a background in that and to do that. So most of the time it's guys I don't really know or ever going to meet, but we've kind of dabbled into it a little bit, and I really would like to get into it myself if I could, because it's an expensive game. Production that's the expensive part of it, and it's hard to get into all that for sure.
Oh, cool. With the album covers, do you make those, or do you have someone make them? Or?
So I've made both of the Used to Be Gone and the 10 Toes one. It's a process. I would say it's not just a simple edit. Both of those have, usually how I've done both of them is, okay, here's this. I see a little spot. I want to add this to it. I want to add this to it. And it's like several edits throughout it.
Yeah.
Then when I've always heard, and this is the truth, when you know, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's that.
All right.
That's cool.
You got any questions? Or I got a final one.
You got a final question?
Yeah. Okay.
I think I'm good.
Okay. So what was your... I guess I got two final questions. I got a fun one towards the end, but this is the last, like, real big one, I guess. So what was the main inspiration behind is it 10 Toes Down or just 10 Toes?
10 Toes Down.
10 Toes Down, okay. What was the inspiration behind 10 Toes Down, and like what was the experience making that album that's releasing Friday, July 4th?
It's the best question. It's the best question you've asked for sure. That's I've wanted to. I talk about it in the documentary a little bit.
Yeah.
You'll see that, but Used to Be Gone, first album, 2023. This is how I look at it. I had my whole life to talk about until that point, and you think, what do you mean? You always have that.
Yeah.
How I make it, how I did it, these experiences I went through, and all the different things, the stuff I talked about earlier, everything, all range of emotions. I was 19 then, and I guess I was 18. I hadn't even turned 19 yet, and I had all this stuff to talk about. It was easy.
Yeah.
It truly was a much easier thing to do. It was like, I'd never really got anything out there. I'd never made an album that officially coming out or official type deal. And it was easy. It was like, I got all these different things to talk about. I've always took pride in, as you reached out to me about this the other day, about involving people in my life in it too. And that's through like sampling, and that's using their voice and them talking about me or something of that sort. You'll see a lot of that on this new. I've always took a lot of pride in that. I had all this stuff to use. I had everything in my life that I've ever done to use and to talk about and to do. And that was more about just getting it out there to prove to people, hey, I can do this. I'm going to do that. And then after that, as if you never knew this, I talked about the gone in middle school. Well, used to be gone.
Yeah.
That's where that came from. And with this one, it was like, first of all, a few months after, I knew as soon as I got Used to Be Gone out, the feeling I had, the feedback I had, everybody's coming around me and giving me the credit and doing this, I was like, I want to make another one. Like, I want to make it, and it's a continuance. Everything is, that's how I do my stuff. It's a continuance of Used to Be Gone. It's the next chapter. It's like you're reading a book. It's the albums are like a book. And first of all, it was finding the concept and what I wanted it to be. And they always say when you know the name, you know. And I was rushing it at first. I was like, I want to get the name of this. Like, I want to have a direction. And I was talking to all the 606 and whatnot. I was like, I want to know what I want to do with this. And they were like, just don't rush it. Just make the music. And when you know, you're going to know. And that's very true. And of course, it is what it is. The keeping your feet on the ground, being you, all the stuff I've talked about. That's the concept. And when I heard, you do have 10 toes at the end of the day. You have to keep them all on the ground. Yeah. And the 10 being my number. Yeah. When I heard that all come together, it was like, that's it. Like my number wrapping around that, the idea and the concept of it, it all fit together. And from then, it was just getting the songs. Like he said, with Jelly Roll, I probably have 400 songs that were supposed to be on 10 Toes Down that they're narrowed down to the best 15 in my opinion, or whatever you'd say. And it was a process. I guess the layout, the format Used to Be Gone. You have, if you ever, I know you listened to it, you said you did last night, you have 6 head knockers, I guess you'd say. You're like these, vibes, songs, and then you get to this interlude. Yeah. And it's like, that really talks about, it's one of my rawest emotion songs, Hide My Scars, that I talk about.
A little slower.
All the stuff I talked about earlier and really bringing out my emotions to it. Then you hear the hit, I guess you'd say, the album, my most ever streamed song, Run, 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 is right after that. So it goes from it's like a journey. It's like, I'll slow you down and then I'll come at you. Like, it's the formula that I've had for making it. Then you add in these samples. The fire one, that's the one everybody always talks to me about on Throw Me in the Fire, that I used the news sample of the Estill County fires. That's and then I, made the song around that. I have a continuance of that. That's the first time I've ever said that on this new. It's and then I have my friends talking. The 3 Nights in a Row song, that has a shout out to all the people that have been around me in the studio before and stuff like that. And that goes back to Alex when we were in high school and we would record there after basketball games. And all those people there, and I gave them a tribute, and you can hear their voices on some of the songs. I have the tag with Bryce, the E. Hardy, you want to go swimming, whatever, on the beginning of that. And it's just giving everyone their respects. Yeah. But it's also one big piece, like I said. It's all one piece. And I would say I could make 3 versions of this album. The amount of songs I have, the amount of things I put together, I could put it all in 3 different forms. And it's hard. It's a lot of songs you're like, I want that to come, but it truly doesn't fit, or it truly won't work here. That's one of the harder parts of it. And it's like seeing how it all came together. There was a couple months there where I'm just like, I'm about to scratch this thing. Like, cannot do this. Like, everything is not coming how I want it to come. And then you take songs in, you move songs out. It's like, it's a lot of moving around. And then, like you said, this is the thing I took away the most from this album is I always heard, and this is a very true statement. I would tell this to anybody: your sophomore album is the hardest one. Like I said, you had my whole life before with the first one. This one I had from then to now. Yeah. And it's like It was very hard. It was very difficult. And your sophomore album was always your hardest one. And that's the truth. It really is. But I knew the day when I got the final piece that this is it. This is what I wanted to do. And I pursued forward with getting it into streaming services. And it's on the way now. So, July 4th.
Awesome. Midnight, July 4th.
Midnight, July 4th.
So, I'm running a race that morning. So, I'll probably be listening to it.
There you go.
So,
Nice.
looking
And
forward
one last thing, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you all off, but coolest thing about this and best thing I've ever done in music, in my opinion, track 7 on here is a tribute to my good friend, Blake McMullen from Lincoln County, and rest in peace to him. A tribute song to my friend that passed away. So that's one of the coolest things I've ever did, and it's I'm really excited for people to hear that.
Cool. Well, that might have just answered my question. My last question was going to be, what's your favorite song that you've ever made? That might have just answered it though.
That was up there for sure. That's for sure the coolest thing I've ever did, and like I said, take a lot of pride in. But favorite song I ever made. The best song I ever made, in my opinion, is "Relationship with My Diamonds." Mm-hmm. That's my second most streamed song ever, and that song I've never heard anyone say anything bad about. Like, some people will say, every once in a while, and I like people to be real with me, and they'll say, I don't like this one as much, they don't play this one as much, and that's fine. But Relationship with My Diamonds, that's a song that I think is my best overall song that people have always really came to me and said it was really, really good. I don't know, the Falling Out of Love.
I really like that one.
I don't think I could ever make anything like that again.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always say that about that song. That was it was just like, everybody loves that song. It's completely clean too. That's always great.
So nice you released it twice.
Yep. It's on the single version and the album version. Yeah. And that is just one of the most meaningful. It has everything. It's meaningful. Yeah. It's catchy. It's radio playable. I know they played it out at the games and stuff a few times, and that was always a big one for me. But to be honest, the intro track to 10 Toes Down, besides the song I told about earlier, which is titled Eyes Don't Lie, it's actually a rendition of a Juice WRLD song. Yeah. That talks about my friend. But the intro track to this 10 Toes Down album, it is filled with samples. It has the way we wanted it to sound is like I was coming in. That's how the album starts. It's like an intro, and it has a sports sample of me. It has people talking about me, and then it goes into the song. And I think that was it was the last song I did. If you can believe that, the intro song was the last song I ever recorded for this, and that's crazy to sound, but I take so much pride in the intro, and I could not get it down. I was like, I've worked for 2 years, I'm serious, every couple of days to try this, and it was the last song I ever recorded for it, and it was like Morgan just did masterful work in the mixing and sampling, and it really introduces it and puts it all into it puts the whole thing into one, I feel like. Yeah. So it was really cool. So that's what I would say for that.
Oh, cool. Well, we can get to our scripture.
Yes.
What you got over there for us?
I have Galatians 6:9, and this is going to be fitting.
Pull it up on my phone here.
Galatians 6:9 says that let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. You, sir, wear many hats. Me and Gabe we wear a lot of hats. We do a lot of different things, and I think we talk a lot about, at least I know I do, I talk a lot about like how scared I am to not be doing God's will. And you seem like you have a really good relationship with God, and you said that was always your priority. And I think if you keep that there and you keep working and you keep doing all the things you're doing a lot of great things. It's going to benefit you very well.
Appreciate that.
Reap a harvest if we do not give up.
A man reaps what he sows.
Let's not. That just goes into let us not become weary in doing good. Just like don't get anxious, don't get overwhelmed, don't get bear down, because that time will come. We will reap what we sow. We will reap that harvest if we keep going at it, if we don't give up, if we keep grinding, if we
consistency.
Just stay consistent and stay authentic in what you're doing. And just that's a good verse you found there. I like that.
I think no matter what you do, if, like I said, if he's first, everything else will go right into right into play and how it should. And that's what I always trust, even though it's not always going to be pretty. It's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows, but keep him first, it'll be all good.
Alrighty. Well, I guess we can pray, then we can wrap this thing up, can't we?
Absolutely.
All right, let's pray. You want me to just go, or you want to go too? Or?
We can all go if you want.
We can do it.
All right, we'll do it. Well, I'll go, you go. Wrap us up. All right, here we go. Dear God, thank you for this morning. Thank you for letting us get together and just share our experiences and just tell stories and relive some and good memories and make some new ones. We thank you for Elliott for being here today. Thank you for just what he's been doing with his life. Just please bless him as he's making this music and it's coming out. Just let it do very well for him. We just appreciate him being here with us this morning. Thank you for Jake being here this morning too. Just getting this together and hosting, and just we really appreciate him and the work he does with this podcast. Thank you for blessing this podcast and just letting us go for 20 weeks now. This is amazing, and we love you. Please forgive us our sins, shortcomings. In Jesus' name.
Father God, thank you. I thank you for this day, this opportunity that we've just woken up with, everything we have, all the blessings you've given us, and I thank you for these guys. I thank you for Elliott. God, I thank you that he's here, and for all the good work he's doing in your name. I can tell that you are his priority, God, and I hope that you will bless him and continue to help him do good work and continue to light his path. And I thank you for Gabe for being here. God, I pray that you'll keep doing your work with our podcast, and I pray that we can reach more and more people and just to share your love, God. In Jesus' name.
Dear Lord, I thank you for this day. I thank you for both Jake and Gabe for allowing me to be here today and, spread the word about you and talk a little bit about ourselves. And I thank you, Lord, for all the memories and times that I had with both Jake and Gabe. And it's great to see all the great things that they continue to do in their life. And I just ask that you continue to stay with them and help them to be the best of whatever they want to do in life, Lord. And I ask you to continue to put your healing hands on everyone who may be going through something or sick out there, Lord. And I just thank you so much for all the blessings that you've given to me. We love you so much, Lord. It's your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. 10 Toes Down, July 4th, coming out. And that I was going to promote that movie, film that you made. Documentary,
yeah.
I guess. Everyone go watch that. I'll have it linked down below.
Out on YouTube now.
We'll have links to his music also in the description. So we appreciate you being on here.
Yeah.
I think
Thank you all.
Went very well.
It's been great.
Play your intro song and get on out here.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for
we love
watching.
you.
Thank you.
We love you. Jesus loves you.
Be good to your brother.
Good to your brother.